Hi guys, it's Cherry. Welcome to my channel and my Yozi Academy. I've been having so much fun with housing, and I'm excited to show you this cozy little school I built. Today, I'm inviting characters from Final Fantasy VII to join my class. We'll talk about 100 different ways to describe people's personalities. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started! Hi everyone! Welcome to my social studies class. Today, we are going to discuss famous people from around the world and explore their personalities. Did everyone finish your homework? Great! Who wants to go first? Alright, Aerith. Please come up and share what you've learned. Affectionate. Mother Teresa was affectionate, always showing love to those in need. Ambitious. Napoleon was ambitious, aiming to conquer much of Europe. Anxious. Abraham Lincoln was sometimes anxious during the Civil War, worried about the future of the country. Assertive. Tokugawa Ieyasu was assertive in establishing the Tokugawa shogunate in Japan. Astute. Benjamin Franklin was astute, using his sharp mind to help shape the United States. Attentive. Florence Nightingale was attentive, carefully taking care of wounded soldiers. Bold. Oda Nobunaga was a bold leader who tried to unify Japan. Bossy. Some people thought Queen Victoria was bossy because she liked to have things her way. Caring. Princess Diana was caring, always helping the sick and the poor. Collaborative. The Wright brothers were collaborative, working together to invent the first airplane. Compassionate. Mahatma Gandhi was compassionate, advocating for peace and understanding between people. Competitive. Steve Jobs was competitive, always wanting Apple to be the best technology company. Compliant. George Washington was compliant to the will of the people, stepping down after 2 terms as president. Confident. Theodore Roosevelt was confident, leading the United States with a strong and steady hand. Conscientious. Confucius was conscientious, teaching his followers to live with integrity and morality. Considerate. Eleanor Roosevelt was considerate, always thinking about the needs of the others. Thank you, Aerith. Who's up next? Cloud, go ahead. Critical. Karl Marx was critical of capitalism, believing it was unfair to workers. Curious. Leonardo da Vinci was curious, always exploring new ideas in science and art. Cynical. Mark Twain had a cynical sense of humor, often making fun of society's problems. Decisive. Harry Truman was decisive when he made the tough decisions to use atomic bombs during World War II. Dependable. Noguchi Hideo was dependable, always dedicated to his research on yellow fever. Detail-oriented. Thomas Edison was detail-oriented, carefully working on his many inventions. Determined. Martin Luther King Jr. was determined to fight for civil rights for all people. Diligent. Albert Einstein was diligent, working hard to develop his theories in physics. Disciplined. Samurai warriors were disciplined, following a strict code of honor and conduct. Discreet. Tokugawa Ieyasu was discreet in his decisions, often keeping his thoughts private. Down to earth. Abraham Lincoln was down to earth, staying humble even as president. Empathetic. Helen Keller was empathetic, understanding the challenges faced by those with disabilities. Energetic. Theodore Roosevelt was energetic, always active in politics, hunting, and exploring. Enthusiastic. Thomas Jefferson was enthusiastic about education, founding the University of Virginia. Expressive. John F. Kennedy was expressive, inspiring many with his powerful speeches. Extroverted. Winston Churchill was extroverted, enjoying conversation and public speaking. Faithful. Oda Nobunaga was faithful to his mission to unify Japan. Thank you, Cloud. Who's up next? Yuffie, go ahead. Far-sighted. Franklin D. Roosevelt was far-sighted, creating policies like Social Security that are still in place today. Fickle. The public's opinion of President Richard Nixon was fickle, changing dramatically during his time in office. Forgetful. Albert Einstein was sometimes forgetful, often losing track of his belongings. Forgiving. Abraham Lincoln was forgiving, showing kindness to the Southern states after the Civil War. Genuine. George Washington was genuine, always honest in his leadership of the new nation. Hasty. Minamoto no Yoshitsune was hasty in his actions, which sometimes led to problems. Hospitable. George Washington was hospitable, welcoming many guests to his home at Mount Vernon. Humble. Mahatma Gandhi was humble, living a simple life despite his fame. Indecisive. Hamlet, in Shakespeare's play, was indecisive, often struggled to make decisions. Introverted. Murasaki Shikibu, the writer of the Tale of Genji, was introverted and to prefer to stay alone. Intuitive. Steve Jobs was intuitive, understanding what people wanted in their technology products. Kind-hearted. Florence Nightingale was kind-hearted, caring for wounded soldiers during the war. Knowledgeable. Leonardo da Vinci was knowledgeable, excelling in many fields like art, science, and engineering. Laid back. Toyotomi Hideyoshi was known to be laid back, especially when enjoying tea ceremonies. Loyal. Sakamoto Ryoma was loyal to his friends and worked hard for Japan's future. Mean. Akechi Mitsuhide was considered mean by some because he betrayed Oda Nobunaga. Thank you, Yuffie. Who's up next? Rude? Go ahead. Modest. Marie Curie was modest, despite winning 2 Nobel Prizes for her work in science. Moody. Beethoven was moody, often changing his temper while composing music. Neurotic. Ishida Mitsunari was neurotic and often worried about the smallest details. Obnoxious. Some people found Oda Nobunaga to be obnoxious because of his strict and rude behavior. Observant. Sherlock Holmes, a fictional detective, was observant, noticing small details others missed. Open-minded. Albert Einstein was open-minded, always exploring new ideas in science. Opinionated. Winston Churchill was opinionated, never afraid to speak his mind during World War II. Optimistic. Martin Luther King Jr. was optimistic, believing in a better future for all people. Organized. Marie Kondo is organized, teaching people how to tidy up their homes. Passionate. Miyamoto Musashi was passionate about his swordsmanship and practiced every day. Perceptive. Prince Shotoku was perceptive and quickly understood the needs of his people. Persistent. Thomas Edison was persistent, trying many times before inventing the light bulb. Pessimistic. Saigo Takamori was sometimes pessimistic, believing the old ways of Japan were lost. Possessive. Tokugawa Ieyasu was possessive about his power and didn't want to share it. Practical. Benjamin Franklin was practical, always finding solutions to everyday problems. Precise. Isaac Newton was precise in his calculations, leading to groundbreaking discoveries in physics. Pretentious. Some thought Sugawara no Michizane was pretentious because he always showed off his knowledge. Thank you, Rude. Who's up next? Tifa, go ahead. Proactive. John F. Kennedy was proactive, starting the space race with his famous speech about landing a man on the moon. Protective. Rosa Parks was protective of her rights, standing up against racial discrimination. Punctual. George Washington was punctual, always arriving on time for important meetings. Pushy. Some people thought General Douglas MacArthur was pushy because he was very forceful in his leadership during the war. Quick-witted. Mark Twain was quick-witted, often making sharp and clever jokes in his writing. Rational. Thomas Jefferson was rational, thinking carefully and logically when writing the Declaration of Independence. Realist. President Dwight D. Eisenhower was realist, understanding the challenge of the Cold War. Reasonable. Confucius was reasonable, teaching people to act with wisdom and fairness in their lives. Reflective. Sen-no-rikyu was reflective, often thinking deeply about the meaning of the life and tea. Reliable. Kusunoki Masashige was a reliable general, always ready to fight for the emperor. Reserved. Emperor Meiji was reserved, speaking only when necessary. Resilient. Helen Keller was resilient, overcoming her disabilities to become a famous author and speaker. Respectful. Mahatma Gandhi was respectful of all people, treating everyone with kindness and dignity. Responsible. Nelson Mandela was responsible, leading South Africa towards equality and justice. Selfish. Ashikaga Yoshimitsu was sometimes seen as selfish because he focused on his own wealth and power. Sensitive. Vincent van Gogh was sensitive, deeply affected by the world around him, which showed in his art. Sincere. Abraham Lincoln was sincere, always honest and genuine in his efforts to lead the country. Thank you, Tifa. Who's up next? Zach? Go ahead. Sociable. Benjamin Franklin was sociable, enjoying gatherings with people and sharing ideas. Stubborn. Thomas Edison was stubborn, refusing to give up until he succeeded in inventing the light bulb. Submissive. Many samurai were submissive to their lords, following orders without question. Sympathetic. Mother Teresa was sympathetic, always helping the poor and the sick with great care. Talkative. Winston Churchill was talkative, known for his long speeches during World War II. Thoughtful. Eleanor Roosevelt was thoughtful, always considering the need of others before making decisions. Tidy. Marie Kondo is tidy, teaching people how to keep their homes clean and organized. Timid. Uesugi Kenshin was timid in his younger years, but became a strong warrior. Tolerant. Martin Luther King Jr. was tolerant, fighting for the rights of all people, regardless of their race. Trustworthy. George Washington was trustworthy, earning the respect and trust of his soldiers and citizens. Understanding. Kukai, a famous monk, was understanding of others' beliefs and shared his knowledge with kindness. Unpleasant. Some people found Tokugawa Tsunayoshi unpleasant because of his strict laws. Uplifting. John F. Kennedy's speeches were uplifting, inspiring people to strive for a better future. Uptight. Some found Queen Victoria to be uptight, as she was very strict about manners and behavior. Warm-hearted. Princess Diana was warm-hearted, always showing love and kindness to those in need. Wise. Confucius was wise, teaching lessons that have guided people for thousands of years. Witty. Takeda Shingen was witty and often made clever remarks during meetings. Thank you, Zach. That was fantastic, everyone. You not only did an amazing job on your homework, but you also shared it with such confidence. You've shown great teamwork and dedication. Well done. That's all for today. Thank you very much for coming. I'll see you next time. Bye.